relationships with Worcester Technical High School and North High and Worcester and other schools to really help create that educational link too. So they bring back what they're learning, both on the work site with the school and really integrating that. So
And I know it's an institutional interest, but a big thanks to John O'Brien. What he did for that has been tremendous, and we're glad he was able to retire. But we're going to miss him. But I'm sure UMass is going to step up. So,
well, Frank, we want to thank you for being here and for educating us about the work that you're doing. I want to thank you again for the work that you and others at Worcester Interfaith are doing on behalf of the community and for youth employment. So thanks again.
great, and thanks for this beautiful mug.
You haven't seen
Yeah, no, you have it's quite a mug. It's quite a mug. Sean, you want to take it away? I know that
Next up, we've got an interview. I sat down with Nancy Tebow from Rainbow Child Development. Talked to them a little bit about a great event they have coming up. They have their 40th year anniversary coming
That's
up.
Wonderful. 40 years.
40 years, yeah, serving the community, and that's going to be on April 11th at the Worcester Art Museum. And I'll let Nancy tell you a little bit more about the event. Good afternoon. I'm here with Nancy Tebow from Rainbow Child Development. You may remember that name, Rainbow Child Development, from one of our last shows where we went and interviewed the students there and about their career paths and what to put on a resume, and we had a lot of fun doing that. So Nancy, maybe you can tell us a little bit about Rainbow Child Development, what you guys do, and
Well, Rainbow Child Development Center is a licensed nonprofit early education care center for children, and it's been in existence for the past 40 years. It's 1972, and what is really different is that it really works with from toddlers, infants, toddlers, preschoolers, school-age children right up to age 13. We're working with children at risk. The students in the preschool program have quite an enriched curriculum and also on-site therapies. Those therapies range from speech, language, play therapy, and also what they've started to contract and work on is STEM. They have a science program, literacy, art. They have something called Imagimotions, which is physical education, nutrition, things like that. And that's all on site. I feel as if this particular program is unique in the fact that it's a 10-hour program, open, 365 days. It's not an academic schedule. And parents, guardians who bring their children to the program are either working full-time or that they're in full-time education program themselves.
the older ones.
And then, well, when you say older, 2.9 to 5 are deemed preschool. And they're
The 0.9.
yeah,
right?
exactly, 2.9. So not even 3 years old. And they're at the preschool program at 10 Edward Street. And that particular...
and that's the one that we had
that's
visited.
That's the one that you visited,
Yep.
exactly. Which you saw was a pretty
Oh, it's a fun environment.
dynamic,
Yes.
very
Good
fun,
group.
a lot going on.
Absolutely.
And then after school, then we have two excellent programs, one being at City View School and also Belmont Community School. And we're working with students there after school till 5:30.
Oh, okay.
Same thing as we're doing at Edward Street.
And the ages for
And
those
the-
kids are...
And the ages are up to 13, so 5 to 13.
So it's that after-school
That
program.
after-school
yep.
program, which again is so important. Those are tricky hours.
Yeah.
Those are very tricky hours. The homework is being done. Not only homework though, but we also then have the enrichment programs.
Right.
Which is terrific.
Which is that curriculum you're
Science.
talking about? Yep.
Yep, science.
The STEM, which is
art,
STEM.
science bug, which
Yep.
is, and then the art, and then imagine, as far as a lot of physical education as well.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's really good. So the academics are there, along with, they've had a long day.
Yeah,
Time
yeah.
to kind of run around.
And I
well.
heard you mention 40 years, so this is a long-lived
This is
program.
This is here to stay.
Yeah, here to
You know,
stay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're pretty excited about that fact.
And you're celebrating with a big event, right?
Huge event.
Coming up on, it looks like I've got a Thursday, April 11th.
Thursday, April 11th at the Worcester Art Museum.
Beautiful place.
It
Beautiful
is a
place
nice,
to have
very
a
nice
yeah.
venue. And we're very, very fortunate to have the support of Worcester.
Mm-hmm.
And The Worcester Sharks have donated so much of their time, energy,
yeah.
philanthropic
Yep.
efforts, whether it be, going to games. They've been participating in the summer literacy program, reading to the children. Finns the shark has come
Yes.
a number
Yep.
of times.
And so I understand you guys are giving them an award.
They're getting a very nice, pretty prestigious award. It's, we do deem every year as far as some agency that has really demonstrated a consistent commitment to Rainbow Child Development.
Yeah.
They have extended themselves far and beyond, so we're thrilled to have
Great.
them there. But also, we want to recognize the Worcester Public Schools. We couldn't,
Right, like you said,
we
that
couldn't be
partnership
successful.
there, yeah.
Exactly, the community, we couldn't be successful without the Worcester Public Schools. Specifically this year, we are honoring and giving a plaque to Dr. Susan Prue at Belmont Community School, and then also Mr. Ganem over at City View.
Okay.
These particular principals have said, okay, they've opened their doors, and then we have the after-school program
Right.
there.
Okay.
It's a
Yep.
lot of students.
Yep.
It's a lot of
And your
commitment.
faculty goes there. Yep.
Absolutely. Our faculty's
But
there.
they give you the space. And
They
yeah.
do.
Oh, great.
And they give us the support
Right.
and the enthusiasm.
Which is important, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We wouldn't, again, it's a real partnership. Dr. Boone will be attending this particular event. It is from 5 to 7:30 on a Thursday evening. We will have the children sing a song,
Oh, it's
which
going
will
to
be
be great
kind of fun.
entertainment there.
It'll be really kind of fun.
So you got the entertainment, and then the food is actually...
The food, yes, we'll have hors d'oeuvres and things like that, but then afterwards, the highlight is Worcester Technical High School will be providing dessert, which will be cupcakes.
Great.
And again, we're really working with, from preschool Worcester all the way through school age to high school, and then launching them onto their career.
Right.
And so we're very, very pleased to have the students come down and show them their talents.
Yeah.
So that will be a real highlight.
Yeah, and all the proceeds from this event will go towards building that program and maintaining that program
Yes.
at Rainbow.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's also a thanking back. It's almost a rebranding
Yeah.
and saying that because you need to thank the community every once in a while.
Yep.
This is really a thank you and acknowledgement kind of event. We're pulled in many directions, and agencies and leaders of the community are pulled in many directions. And so this is an opportunity to say what we've accomplished, thanked our sponsors, thanked the city, and letting them know that what our next steps are. We are building programs just to even make the curriculum even enrich the program.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And so people that are interested in attending this event, they can find more information on your website,
Absolutely.
which is www.rainbowcdc.com.
Right, for community development
And
center.
they can also call you
They can
directly?
just call me
Call
directly.
the main
Yep.
office there?
Just call the main office, 508-791-6849, and just ask for me. I think that's another easy way, rather than, if you want, I am there and able to immediately address whatever questions they might have.
Great.
We would love to have more folks attend if they would like to. We've specifically said it's just, a 5 to 7:30
Mhm.
at night, and I think it should be a really lovely evening.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us
Well,
today.
thank you.
We
Thank you,
appreciate you taking
Sean.
the time, and again, we appreciate the partnership.
Okay, we're back. We're just discussing off air here. Sean getting quite a lot of experience as an interviewer. I think you're going to be excited to see this next segment, though.
Yeah?
I was out there, out and about. I was over at the Worcester Youth Opportunities Office, and the city manager of Worcester had a youth summit.
Oh,
so
cool.
brought in, about over 80 representatives from different organizations that in one
Packed
way or
the
another
house over there.
serve youth, and brought them together to really look at, hey, where is there overlap and where there's gaps, and where's the need right now that maybe isn't being met. We've got all these resources from different organizations, public, private, nonprofit, all kind of out there.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we coordinate it in a way to make sure that that the gaps get covered, and then some of the overlaps maybe could dissipate
So
too.
big overall assessment of what's going on.
Exactly, and working with Jessica and the team at Cable Services, interviewed a couple people from that event using a new style of interview. I think
Maybe I can pick up, if I study the interview, I can maybe pull some.
I think people are going to be
pointers out of
studying
there.
this for years to come. It's Jessica told me this is like the hot new style. It's like I'm being on what was the show? The red carpet on E Entertainment or something. You'll
so
see. I've got
kind of
the
like
mic
a
in my
Ryan
hand. Yeah,
Seacrest
exactly.
kind of thing?
Yeah,
or-
something like that.
Yeah,
Something
well,
like that.
let's check it out.
Let's check it out.
Hi, we're here with Jesse Edwards, the city's Youth Opportunities Office Director at the Youth Services Summit. Jesse, can you tell us a little bit about the event today?
Sure. This was our first Youth Services Summit, and the whole purpose of this event was to get the community agencies together to talk about really what's working in the city as far as youth employment, education, youth homelessness, a number of different issues, to talk about sort of what's working for us, and then start to focus on what the gaps are in terms of youth in the city. So we called all the community, or many of the community groups together, youth serving agencies together in the city, and we had a really discussion on what those gaps in services were.
Seemed like there was a great turnout, judging by the size of the crowd. A standing room only crowd here today. By my count, over 80 attendees, which speaks to, I guess, the level of services in the city. Were there any major gaps that were identified? I know that was one of the targeting things that you wanted to discuss, was finding those gaps.
Yeah, we've had a number of panelists come today. Derek Brindisi from Department of Public Health, Dr. Boone from she's the superintendent of Worcester Public Schools, Laurie Ross, and Councilor Sarai Rivera, and we touched on a number of issues from public health to education to youth employment. So within those, there were some common themes that came out. The need for community groups to work more together, to know kind of what's out there for youth services in the city. Many times we don't know what's going on, and that was sort of a common theme that people had said around the room. So yeah, I mean, there's some things that we can take and move forward from here, but really looking forward to really addressing those needs and trying to see what we can do to serve more youth in the city of Worcester.
Great. Well, thank you. It seems like a great event. I'm sure the discussion will be ongoing. Hi, we're here with City Councilor Sarai Rivera at the City Youth Services Summit, and a lot of energy seemed to be in the room. A lot of great discussion. Can you tell us what you think some of the key points from your perspective in the discussion were?
I think that one of the things to be able to see is the different resources that are available in the city, and I think that I'm looking forward to a lot of energy, and I think a lot of folks that normally maybe may not connect and may not feel how one really connects with the other, but we were able to see that ability to be able to connect and bridge services and be able to kind of fill in some of the gaps that many of our organizations are facing with services. So that's one I think that I'm really excited. One of the things that I want to see is being able to develop a strong youth agenda citywide and begin to develop some long-term goals and some short-term goals, and being able to really see some of these goals really come into fruition. And it's something we've done in the past, and I think that we have a really a good group of people here and some good energy, and I really am very excited to move this forward.
I saw too. It seemed like there was a great mix between established, larger organizations that serve youth and some of the more grassroots or newer organizations, and a great mix across the board of different organizations that serve different populations, different ages. Can you speak a little bit about some of that variety of folks that were involved today?
Yeah, I mean, we see different cultures. We see also from people who are working with homeless youth to people who are working with youth with mental illness, from younger youth to older adult youth. And so I think this is really important. We were looking at people who are dealing with education, other people who are dealing with work readiness. But when you issues of health, I think that one of the most exciting is looking at the issue of how, like, outdoors and how the outdoors can really be connected. And that could be connected in many ways, like even in mental health.
And the resources that are
yes,
already there
exactly.
that just need to be connected.
And so that's really exciting because you get to be able to see that. The library and how significant that is. And so things that you wouldn't even think about, we're going to have a youth summit and have the library president or the Audubon Society. Why is that important? But actually there is a level of connectivity. And for example, like I talked about clinically, it's been very therapeutic to take some of these youth outdoors. And that's also connected to health, for example. So that was really nice to see a nice eclectic group. And I think that that's going to really help us to shape a really strong agenda.
And it seems like, getting back to that collaboration, coordination, that a lot of these groups have resources that, like the Audubon and the trail network here in the city, is actually very extensive in getting more families involved, more young people involved,
Yes.
and actually, utilizing some of the existing resources. It's not going to cost, new money, but it's going to be effective in helping.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I think, that's some of the things that I've learned to do. So before being in council, working many years in youth services, looking that you have this little bit and you have to do so much. And so you learn the value of partnership and how working together is so significant. And so you look at not duplicating services, but what services out there exist, and looking at what can you do, what's your part that you do, and what's the part that the other person does, and how do you bring that together. Yes, exactly. And I think that all too often, there's a level of just survival out there because there's small funds, everybody's just struggling with a lot of work, with little time, so on and so forth. But I think coming together, we're able to see, wow, if I carry this log by myself, I could probably carry it, but it's going to be such a struggle. But if three of us carry it together, it will still struggle, we'll struggle together, we'll probably be able to do it a lot faster and a lot more productively. And that's what I'm hoping that we can see here. And we can see what it is that we need to move forward this agenda, and to know that we're not alone, and actually if we can pull together, we could actually move it forward and more productively.
Councilor Rivera, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So that was excellent. I want to thank Jesse Edwards, the City of Worcester's Youth Opportunity Office Director, as well as Councilor Rivera for taking the time to speak with us. And so, there's a lot of big events going on lately. One of the other big events is, as of course, that we had talked about last month, was the big job fair that was had. I think it's the largest in the state.
Yep.
And that was put on by the folks at Workforce Central Career Center in partnership with the Worcester Sharks.
Yep. It's a private sector and public sector kind of teaming up, which
Yeah.
is it's great. It was a great event. I had the pleasure of attending. They had close to 80 businesses there, somewhere around the range of 70. They had close to 2,000 job seekers. It was a great event. I got to sit down with Jonathan Cortez, the manager down in Milford of the Career Center, to talk a little bit. And I also got to interview one of the employers there, Tri-State Trucking. So Hi, I'm here now with Jonathan Cortez, the operations manager at Workforce Central Milford. How you doing today, Jonathan?
I'm doing very well, Sean. Yourself?
I'm doing well. So we've got a lot of people here today. What's going on? What's this event going on here?
Well, Sean, as you know, this is a working collaborative between Workforce Central and Worcester Sharks. It's our third annual job fair here at the DCU Center. And we have about 74 employers and are expecting somewhere in the vicinity of 2,000 to 2,500 job seekers here today.
That's great. That's great. So this is a Career Center sponsored event?
Yes, it is. What the Career Centers are and Workforce Central is an opportunity where job seekers can come in and employers and work with staff